Welcome back to another edition of Two Up Front, presented by ShopFutsal.com. I'm Baxter Colburn, here now with an opportunity for a player interview. We head to the wonderful worlds of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for this interview. We head to a club that is very historic for any of you that have followed the growth of soccer in America for a very long time. The name Bethlehem Steel FC means something to you. You know about it back in the early 1900s. You know that the club was around from about 1904 until 1930. Won a ton of different championships back when soccer in America was a hot-button topic, and then it went away for a while. But now it's back. It is part of the Philadelphia Union. It is their USL side that they use. As you've heard from so many other MLS teams nowadays, you hear about different teams that have a second team or a partner team. Well, Bethlehem Steel FC is the USL version of that for the Philadelphia Union of MLS, and we have an opportunity to speak with the captain himself right off of training, right off from the gym. It's number 44, the defender Ryan Richter. Ryan, welcome to the program, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You are welcome. Well, Ryan, we're excited to have you on the program. You look at this team, you look at the history behind it. What does it mean to you to play for such a historic franchise?
Right. I mean, obviously, it's a bit different than at most clubs when they're starting out, because this club does have some history. So it's a pretty cool thing. I actually didn't know too much about it until I signed here and I started reading some of the things about the club, and it's pretty cool to play for a club that has such great history.
Absolutely, yeah. You talk about it. You've only been at the club since December. You came from the Ottawa Fury. You were with them for 2 seasons. Well, talk a little bit about your time being kind of in the Toronto FC system. You did spend some time with some first-team action as well. So tell us a little bit what it was like to play with Toronto and Ottawa for a little bit.
Right. I spent 3 years in Canada, and it was with 2 really good clubs with Toronto and Ottawa. And it was a great experience for me, and I met some good people and played for some really good coaches. So my experience there was something that I learned a lot from. I learned a lot from the people I was working with, and a big part of my career.
You spent like you mentioned, though, you said you were with the Fury there for 2 technical seasons. You played all 32 games for them last season. You won a championship as well against the New York Cosmos in the NASL. What were the little bit of differences that you saw between MLS and NASL at the time? I know folks are always saying, well, they're competing leagues, or sometimes NASL is that second division under MLS. Did you see a lot of differences, or was there a distinct difference, I guess, in what you saw in terms of style of play and even just overall what it felt like to be a part of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that that MLS certainly has the star players who are a level above what the NASL players would be as far as technically and how good of players they are. But overall, I think starting 11 for an NASL club, there's a lot of players who could certainly compete for starting spots, and definitely squad roles in MLS teams. So it was good. I played with a lot of experienced players. I think that's pretty common throughout the league, is that most teams are full of experienced players, not a lot of youth, and not a lot of guys really on the way up. It's more guys who have played and know what they're doing and really are trying to win a championship. So it's a pretty good league, and it's only growing. It's only the owners are only investing more money, and it's only getting better every year. So it's good for American soccer and soccer in North America to have a second division league that really is striving to be better every year.
Absolutely, yeah. As you mentioned that, I mean, you talk about players with experience. Your name certainly has to come up, at least within the organization. You've been around the game for a couple of years. You've won a championship. You're an established defender in the league. You spent time in MLS and NASL and now USL. How much of the partnership between Bethlehem Steel and Philadelphia plays out? I mean, even in training, do you guys get an opportunity to train with some of the Union first team guys, or how often do you get to interact with the club?
Right. I mean, well, we see them every day. We train in Philadelphia, so it's it really is one club, and it's 2 teams, but really one club. We train here every day, and we're based out of Philadelphia. We're based out of the stadium, so we see these guys every day. We don't train together, but for the guys who come down to play with us for the game days, they'll train with us maybe the day before the game. So it's pretty fluid as far as guys coming down to play. Not as much guys going up for training and to play, but it certainly is good for the development of a lot of players that maybe aren't getting games at the MLS level, and also for kids coming up through the academy. So it's really good for the club overall as far as developing players and making sure that guys who maybe aren't getting first team minutes are still getting games and still progressing.
What do you like the most about being in the USL? I feel like there's a lot of different teams with a lot of different stories. You've got an upcoming match against Louisville City FC, a team that is pushing to become an MLS team, which I know is a little bit of a different situation than what you guys at Bethlehem are doing, obviously. But what is it like to play some of these teams, or even the bigger teams in USL right now?
Right. I mean, I played for Charleston in 2012, and we won a championship. So, I know a little bit about what the other teams in USL, the ones who aren't affiliated with MLS teams, what they're about. And they're all about winning. So it's a good test. It's good to make these guys who are coming down to play USL minutes. It's actually meaningful games, and it's a real league. It's not like a reserve league. It's a real league. So us going up against teams like that, it can only benefit the players more as far as playing against other MLS affiliated sides.
Now, you talk about playing in a real league. I mean, FC Cincinnati just a couple of weeks ago, they packed over 20,000 people into their stadium against the Nashville FC side, which raised a lot of eyebrows, I think, and a lot of folks saying, wow, I didn't realize 20,000 people in Cincinnati cared about soccer, which was great to see, honestly. I mean, you talk about trying to find who is going to support, you hear all about MLS expansion, you hear all these kind of crazy things, but it's amazing to see that when the right team is in town, that people want to come out for it. And, I mean, I'm assuming you guys see that similar situation for you guys, too, with Bethlehem Steel. Does the history part of it draw the fans, or is it the playing style, or is it just the fact that you're the captain?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you say for Cincinnati, it just shows how much soccer's going in this country that a new team in really the third division is drawing 20,000 fans. That's pretty impressive. And, as far as for Bethlehem, I don't really think it has too much to do with the history. More is just that there's pro soccer being played in the Lehigh Valley, and there's a lot of soccer players and a lot of soccer fans out there that want to see the pro product without having to drive all the way to Chester to see it. So it's, with the more teams being added, it's great to spread the game and give more people a chance to see it and to play at a professional level.
Talking with Ryan Richter here on Two Up Front, the captain of Bethlehem Steel FC. Ryan, I need to ask you, your Twitter handle is something you don't see every day. Tell me if I'm pronouncing this right. Shackledino, is that correct? Or
Yeah.
I got to ask the motivation behind that. It's just very unique. You wouldn't hear that every day.
Well, I mean, two people that I'm sure you're familiar with, Shaq and Ronaldinho.
Sure.
Are my idols because of their personalities and the way they play the game. Two different sports, but because of their personalities, man, they love the game and they enjoy every minute of it and enjoy every minute of their lives. So there's two people that I look up to, and two people that really what it should be about. Enjoying life while you get to do what you love.
And I saw that your Twitter handle before I even went to your player profile page, and I was like, oh gosh, this guy is probably going to be 6'7", 6'8", 2 something, being trying to emulate Shaq but he's got the skills of Ronaldinho. And I looked at him okay, I mean, not that you're a small guy, you're 6'2", 170, which is a great size for a defender, but I was like, I gotta ask about that Twitter account. I'm like, that's just so awesome.
Yeah, you're not the first person.
Okay, good, yeah, because so many times players are like, whatever, I mean, my Twitter handle's Baxter Colburn. Woo, very, very unique, but at the same time, everyone's got their own way of, setting themselves apart. Now, I'm curious, Ryan, when you look at it from a defender's standpoint, how much of what you do, number one, as a captain on the field of what happens, how much do you control of what happens on the field? I know as a captain you take command, but does the coach feed a lot of different information through you, or does it go as a team as a whole? I mean, every coach has their own game plan, but what role do you play during those 90 minutes that you're on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big responsibility because I think even more in our team because we have, different players joining us every week really from the union. So it's something when we're on the field, I kind of take it as my responsibility to make sure I'm talking the entire time and make sure that everyone's on the same page. I know Brendan uses me. A lot of times he'll tell me to give relay information on the field, and my job to kind of control people's interaction with the referee and things like that. And just make sure that I'm talking the entire game and keeping everybody on the same page.
Which is exactly what you want from your captain, too, which is very commendable in that regards. So looking ahead, Ryan, you've only played a couple games so far this season. You've had a couple games now, even as a captain, to assess the talent that you have, and I know you said there's kind of a revolving door at times with guys coming in and out from the Union. What is a realistic expectation that you guys have going forward now for the season?
Well, definitely our first goal is make the playoffs. With 8 out of 14 teams in the Eastern Conference making the playoffs, I think that every team should set the goal at making the playoffs. So for us, that's no different. Our goal is to make the playoffs, and obviously we'll go from there, kind of thing. Once you get there, you can, anything can happen. So we've showed that we can compete against some of the best teams in the league. So there's no reason that we can't set the goal higher than that as well.
Would you say that playing? You're from Southampton, Pennsylvania, to begin with. So, when you found out that you were going back to Pennsylvania after spending 3 years in Canada, was there a little bit of a smirk that came over your face, saying like, "Yes, I get to kind of go back home," or you're like, "All right, why not? I guess I'll go back to the home state."
No, that's like the main reason that I came home. My wife's pregnant with our first child. So,
oh, congratulations! So was mine.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So to be able to be near home and give both of our parents the chance to be grandparents and see their grandchild, whenever they want to, that's something that we couldn't take away from. So that I had this opportunity, it's something in my career that I had to take, even though I had, it was a tough decision because I had some clubs that I really wanted to play for and that were really interested in me, but overall I couldn't take this opportunity away from my family.
Has Jim Curtin already filed a homegrown claim on your child yet, or not yet?
I don't know yet. We'll have to see. We'll have to see over the next couple of years, though.
Okay. Do you know what it is yet by chance, or are you still waiting to hear?
Yeah, it's a boy.
Oh, well, there you go. See, there's an opportunity.
He's a soccer player.
Yeah, right. You gotta follow in Dad's footsteps. You gotta set a good example for him. Well, fantastic. Yeah. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your schedule today to chat with us here on Two Up Front. We wish you the best of luck going forward, and hopefully we can chat again in the coming weeks as well.
All right, great. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
You're very welcome. Ryan Richter, the captain of Bethlehem Steel FC. He wears number 44, the defender. Go and check out a Bethlehem Steel game if you are in the Bethlehem area in Pennsylvania, and you can hear more about that by going to PhiladelphiaUnion.com and checking out the Steel FC tab as well. We're going to run to a break. When we come back, we've got much more in store for you here on Two Up Front, presented by ShopFutsal.com.